This is Debbie Hemsley of the Neave collection. Welcome to the Bella Building Blocks Color Your Own video tutorial. Please save this document to your computer before starting. You will need access to a computer and to Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel for this Color Your Own exercise. For the purposes of this video, I have used the Aran Style 162 by 132, which is 64 by 52 inch template. I'll use this to demonstrate how to color your own and calculate how much yarn you need. The same principles apply to all the templates. I'm not going to do individual templates for every single option because that would just take an awfully long time. Step 1, we're going to choose our colors. If you look at point 1, we're going to tap or click on that link to view a Stylecraft Special Aran color chart. So let's do that. Hold down Control key and click on that link. You may have to click twice. For some or other reason, Word seems to be working a bit strangely at the moment. You will then be prompted with a message asking if you would like to open this file. Say OK, and it will launch the color chart for you. So let's have a look at this Stylecraft Special Aran color chart as at October 2019. If you are working in DK double knit, there is a color chart especially for DK as well, and you will have access to that from the Color Your Own double knit templates. Let's have a look at what we've got here. Firstly, I've listed all of the colors available, including the ones that are still coming in November 2019. This chart is structured as follows. The first column contains a picture of the Stylecraft Special Aran swatch. We then have the code and the name of the color, and then the RGB values. If you've never worked with RGB values before, let me just explain very briefly what they are. Each and every color comprises of the primary colors, red, green, and blue. And how you mix those depends on what color you're going to get as a result. If you look at white, you'll see that red, green, and blue are all valued 255. If we move across to burgundy, you'll see that red is 108, green is 14, and blue is 29. And each of these colors have their own individual RGB values. I would like you to record how many colors you want to use. I'm going to use 4. So we've got burgundy, plum, teal, and graphite. And each of these have got different RGB values. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to copy and paste. Oh, I've gone too far there. Copy and paste to a Word document or to notes or wherever you want to store this, or you can write them down, but record the values for the colors that you have chosen. You can choose between 1 and 8 colors for the purposes of this exercise. I've already copied and pasted those into a separate Word document, as you can see here. So I've got the code, the color name, the red value, the green value, and the blue value for all 4 of my colors. And I keep that to one side until later on in the process. I'm now going to close this document down and go back to the instructions where we are here. So we have had a look at our Stylecraft Special color chart, and we have chosen between 1 and 8 colors, and we've made a note of the chosen colors names, codes, and the RGB values associated with each color. And now we can move on to step 2. In step 2, we're going to select your chosen style and size template from multiple options. If we just scroll down through these, you'll see the various options. So we've got style 1, rectangle options, style 1, square options. We've got style 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rectangle options, and the same for square options. Then we've got style 7 and the various options. So there's plenty to choose from. So you decide which one you fancy doing, and then you are going to go to that hyperlink and control click to follow the link. Just before we do that, if you have a look at this, wherever you see that eye, if you control click on it, it'll bring you back to this instruction page. It is located on every page in the following document. So let's go back here, control click, and there we are at our template. So you see we've got style 1, 162 by 132, and we have got a blank table here. If you have a look at this table, the grey area is the border, and for the Aran, the border will measure 6 centimeters or 2.5 inches approximately. If you're working in DK, it will be 4 centimeters, 1.5 inches. There is a separate template for DK, so just bear that in mind. Let's now have a look at the table that we are now going to color in to get to our design and color scheme. I've gone down to the bottom right cell over here, and let's just have a look at what that cell contains. We've got number 1, that's the first block you're going to work on, and it comprises of 2 repeats, and we're working in that direction there, and all will become clear when I release the pattern. This block is 24 stitches by 24 rows. Now we want to color this block. How do we do that? We're going to go up to our menu. Do you see table tools there? And design. So table tools, design. Go to shading, click on the down arrow. And now we are going to go to more colors, custom. And we're going to set up some colors here. Now you've made a note of the RGB values for the colors you've chosen, so we're going to enter them here. Let's start with burgundy. So it's 108, 14 and 29 for burgundy. Then I'm going to move up one cell to that one there. I'm going to go to shading, more colors, and I'm going to enter the RGB values for plum. 173, 90 and 123, like that. Now I move up one more cell, and there we're going to go and again click on the arrow down, and we're going to go to more colors, and over here we are going to put in teal, 35 for red, 119 for green, and 112 for blue, and OK. And there we have our 3 colors. Move up one more cell, and let's put in our graphite, lovely deep grey color. Again, go to more colors, and we're going to do 122, 122 and 120, which will give us our grey. So there we have our 4 colors that we have selected, and now I'm just going to carry on filling in the colors according to my own design. So moving up one more cell, click on the arrow down with shading. You can see here that all of your colors are there under recent colors, so you don't have to go through the more colors process every time. So there I'm going to start repeating the colors in the same order. So we've got our burgundy, plum, teal, grey, and then burgundy, plum. This is the fun bit. You can do all sorts of different options using up to 8 colors. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to do these here, And I'm going to do teal there so that it forms a 90-degree angle. So we've got teal, graphite, burgundy, plum, teal, and graphite. Now let's move across to our little table over here. And you see I've got insert name code. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put the colors in here. So the color is burgundy and the code is 1035. This is just for information purposes for when you get round to ordering your yarn, so that you've got all of the information to hand. So we've got plum and that code is 1061. We've got teal 1062 and graphite 1063. Now we can go back up here and we can put our cursor in there, drag and highlight, and then we can go and select the colors here if you want to. And again, you're just using the recent colors, so it's pretty straightforward. Oops. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to count the number of repeats by color. So put our cursor into number of repeats next to burgundy, and then we're going to go and count these number of repeats. So having a look at this down here, block number 1 comprises of 2 repeats. So we add 2 to the 4 repeats in block number 7, which are also burgundy. So that's 6. And then we go to block number 8 and we add 5 repeats. 6 plus 5 is 11. And then we go to block 15 and we add the 8 repeats. So 11 plus 8 is 19. So come over here and enter your 19. Then go to plum. Do exactly the same thing. 2 repeats plus 5 is 7, plus 6 is 13, plus 8 is 21. Teal, we've got 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 6 is 11, plus 7 is 18. And then the graphite, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 is 14, and 8 is 22. Now it's important to make sure that you have counted correctly, and to do that is pretty straightforward. If you look under 3 here, you'll see that we have got 10 length by 8 width. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 10 by 8 means we've got 80 repeats in total in that table. So this number here needs to be 80. So if you just click on that 0 and then right click and then update the field, it'll give you the total. If this total here is the same as the total there, then you know that you have counted correctly. Let's just have a look at the rest of this table. Number 1, I've given you the finished size. This includes the border, and I've given you in centimeters and in inches. Each pattern repeat comprises of 24 stitches by 12 rows. We've already had a look at the body of the throw, and we've already done the number of repeats by color. Down the bottom here, we've got the border of the throw. Just go back up a little bit here. So When we are calculating the yarn requirements for the border of the throw, we're going to use the number of repeats on the edge to facilitate this calculation. So again, we've got our 10, the length on the right side, 10 on the left side, and then we've got 8 at the top and 8 at the bottom. So if you add that up, you get 36 repeats. And this number here we are going to use to calculate the yarn requirements. Now what I want you to do is I want you to make a note of all the information included in points 4 and points 5. Again, the easiest way of doing this is to highlight that all and then copy it and paste it into the other document. Of course, you can just write this all down as well. Now we're going to move on to calculating the actual yarn requirements, and we're going to do that in step 3. I've provided you with a link to step 3 here in the table, so hold down your control key and click on the link to launch the Excel spreadsheet which we will use to calculate your yarn requirement. In step 3, we will calculate how much yarn is needed to complete your chosen design. These calculations are based on the style that you have chosen as well as the number of colors. Cells that you must edit to enable the calculations are shaded in blue. All other cells are protected to prevent changes to the calculations. We're going to go to cell E11 and we're going to enter the color names and codes. This is an optional step and will not affect any of the calculations. Burgundy 1035, plum 1061, teal 1062, graphite 1063. This is just so that you've got the information to hand on the spreadsheet. Then we're going to go to cell B26. This will take you to the materials required for body of throw table. Then we're going to enter the number of repeats you counted in step 2 for each of your chosen colors. So we've got 19 for burgundy, 21 for plum, 18 for teal, and 22 for graphite. Again, just double check that your total is correct. If you've got 80 over here or whatever your total is, then you know you are correct. We're then going to move down to cell B37, and over here, let me just go back here so that you can see what we're working on. We're looking at point number 5, and we are adding in the number of repeats around the edge of your afghan. So the left edge we've got 10 in this example, 10 on the right edge, top we've got 8, and bottom we've got 8. So we have a total of 36. Now we're going to do our border. So we're going to navigate to cell C47, and then if you have a look at this picture over here showing the border rounds, you can then choose which colors you want to put where. So I am going to go with A, and then B, and then A again, then D, and then A again, and then C. It's auto-filling there. Let me just sort that out. And once you've entered those in, your border will calculate. And then we have enough information to know approximately how much yarn we're going to need for the project. we go down a little bit further, cell A55, you will see a table that's got grand total materials in grams. And if you have a look here, you'll see that color A, if we total what we need for the body with the border, we get 478 grams. And if we round that up to the nearest 100 grams, we need 5 balls of color A. Do you see that? So here we have our requirements, and it all looks good. If you want to see how many meters you need, you can have grand total materials in meters. This information is useful if you want to use a yarn brand other than Stylecraft. You can then use the meterage to calculate how many balls of that yarn you will need to complete your project. Again, it'll only be an estimate, but it'll give you a good guideline. Just note that the yarn quantities as provided are a best estimate only. Your gauge, which is your tension, the hook size, and other factors may result in you needing more or less yarn. It's almost impossible for me to be able to anticipate exactly how you are going to work and exactly how much yarn you need, but this is a good estimate. If we return to the top of the spreadsheet, you will see that the totals have now carried through to this summary of yarn requirements table over here. And now you know exactly what you need to buy or what you need to raid your stash for. This brings us to the end of part 1. I'll leave you to get your materials together, and I will see you for part 2.